Hello, welcome to the space, welcome to this channel. It's Banji. Smash the like and do subscribe. Today we're going to talk about an interesting story, and it's all about how to deal with depression after a breakup. And this story leads me to discuss a situation that happened way back in 2008, and it was the story of Travis Alexander and the girlfriend Jodi Arias, yeah, so the girlfriend Jodi Arias. And this happened in 2007. It's an ongoing case and still being investigated, and I think there was some new news about it last year. I don't know, I'm probably going to check on it. So but the point here is having to discuss how a breakup can lead to depression or depressive state. Is a good example, and it shows how a breakup can lead into a depressive state, making people do things that they wouldn't want to do on a normal day. So a story of Alex and Alexander. They were dating from 2007, and they dated from the winter of 2007, so from the beginning of the winter time, and dated for 4 months. So for about 4 months having been in a relationship, I don't know how it was going then, but after the 4th month, I think about December when they had the breakup. During December after the breakup, there was a case of Alexander the guy having to meet another woman and obviously having a relationship with another woman, and Jodi wasn't really happy about it. So Jodi apparently in December of that winter slashed some of his tires, and kept on sending some harassing emails to his girlfriend at that point in time, to Alex's girlfriend at that point in time. So she got jealous, and Jodi and Alex obviously continued their on and off friends of benefit thing all until June of 2008, when friends found Alexander dead in a bathtub. He had been stabbed multiple times and shot in the head. Yeah, so it's not a great one, obviously. Like, it's a real life story of how a good relation, maybe not a good relationship, or a relationship could lead into something else happening.
Well, Jodi Arias was back on the stand today. She started the morning talking about her troubled past and previous boyfriends who cheated on her. She finally testified how she met victim Travis Alexander at a conference for the company that they both worked for.
There was just a crowd of people everywhere, and out of the corner of my eye I saw somebody walking toward me, kind of fast-paced, and I noticed it was a guy, and I thought he was going somewhere because he looked like he had a purpose, so I stepped out of the way because I thought he needed to walk past me, but he stopped right in front of me and stuck his hand out and introduced himself.
Arias continued to recall how the two became intimate. She claims the day Alexander was killed, he invited her to his Mesa home for a day of sex that turned violent, forcing her to fight for her life. Prosecutors say she killed him in a jealous rage.
Well, the intrigue level over the Jodi Arias case has skyrocketed since she took the stand yesterday. People are dissecting everything from her appearance, her demeanor, her childhood, wondering what exactly is the defense strategy here. Joining me now is David Cantor, a defense attorney who we should point out is not connected to this case. Thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you.
All right, so let's start with the decision for her to testify. That's usually a gamble, especially because it opens her up to cross-examination. Why have her testify?
Well, the defense out of the chute said he attacked me and I defended myself. You can't establish self-defense without her testimony. In this case, the physical evidence, that being the photographs and other things of that nature, is too strong. So she'll have to say why she was in fear of her life.
And they got to that question right off the bat. Did you kill Travis Alexander? Is that standard to go straight for the defense claim?
Well, in this case, I think it's smart of the defense. Get it out in the open. Yes, I killed him, but here's why I killed him. Now, they're going to have some problems here because there were 12 photographs taken in a matter of a minute and 46 seconds, which showed this gentleman in the shower. For 10 of the photographs appearing to be unfazed that he's being photographed, the 11th, he's looking right at Jodi or whoever took the photographs, and then the 12th, he's in the bottom of the tub. So it's going to be a tough case.
Well, and today they talked a lot about the establishing of their relationship, how quickly they became intimate. Why is that so important?
That's important to show that she's weak that he was somewhat dominant, and this is how their relationship started. They're also trying to portray him as a person that hid the way he really was from his religious friends and other co-workers, and that if he hid that from his friends, maybe he hid a violent side also.
And yesterday they spent a lot of time talking about her childhood. How is that relevant to this case?
Well, that humanizes her. It also shows that she's been abused by a male figure, that being her father, and that she's somewhat akin to being manipulated and is been abused most of her life, even by her boyfriends.
Okay, a lot of folks were focusing obviously on her appearance. She has kind of a childlike look to her, very soft-spoken. Even the colors that she's wearing, much different from what we first saw initially with her. How does that lend itself to credibility?
Well, the jury's looking at her and they need to say, could this person really shoot somebody twice and stab them 27 times? That is so violent. And if it happened, is she the type that's rough, tattooed, look like they'd get into fights a lot? Or does she look like the poor victim who was pushed to the breaking point? And I think the defense is doing a good job of presenting her in this light that she's somewhat weak. Now, she did give some interviews in the jail before she ever had a lawyer, and she appeared the same way. She didn't appear to be a threatening, physically imposing, angry person.
It'll be very interesting as this case continues to present itself.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much, David. Always a pleasure
What
to
we've
see.
seen from this story, it tells you how far the human mind can go in a depressive state. A human being wanting to inflict pain on another human being, presumably somebody you must have loved before. So it's this tragic story, and it's sad, and it can be a dark place to be in, honestly speaking. So when you break up with somebody, it can really be a struggle for you to pick up the pieces and move on. Your whole world seems like it has crumbled around you, and each day seems more difficult to simply get through. Friends and family will try to help your pain, but you find no amount of help seems to lessen the pain that you feel. Regardless of the circumstances, the reality at that point is that it's not a relationship no more. Everybody's moved, you've reached an impasse, we've moved separate ways, so it becomes a difficult place to be in, and sometimes even people telling you about anything would not even make sense at that point in time. So the struggle continues until you reach the point that you begin to suffer from the post-breakup depression. That's the state I think Jodi was in. Some people, it could be a depressive state. Some people are just narcissistic. Some people are just not nice anyway, but it takes a lot to make that decision, to want to inflict pain to somebody else. Dealing with this type of depression is difficult to do on your own. You really need a strong support system to get back on your feet. I'm going to lay down some tips on what to do in situations like this, or what I think has helped me, or what I think will be beneficial to you and whoever is in this position right now. Looking from the outside, consider for a moment what your relationship looks like if you were looking at it from the outside. I think that's one thing not a lot of people tend to do. When you all in the bubble and you tend to misstep certain red flags or certain rules, and personal rules anyway. I think we all have ideas or things in our head we keep to ourselves and say, okay, cool, we're not crossing this line when it comes to being in a relationship. We're not crossing that line, so sometimes it helps to stand outside and looking at your relationship from outside, not getting lost in the bubble. Don't be subjective, be objective. It could be that the two of you stay together more out of the habit of being in love. If you're not in it for the right reason, it tends to fall apart regardless of what you do. Anyway, with relationships, it requires work anyway, whether you're in it for the right reason or the wrong reason. And the truth about it is, I think over time the true intention of a person would get found out. Like, you're gonna reveal your true intention over time, and sometimes it helps obviously not to make mistakes with people, because some mistakes, especially when you're a woman, it could be irreversible, so it helps for you to look at it from outside. A lot of people tend to love the concept of being in a relationship but don't know what it requires to be in one, so it helps looking at it from outside. Another thing, I would like to point out, judging from this story again, and this happens to every one of us. Stop calling your exes, It's something that we all do. Going into the days, the week, and the months, after a breakup, it's a very emotional state. That's a very emotional time, anybody involved. It's too easy to fall back on all that bit, If you constantly talk to them in the morning, you constantly text, normally, like, obviously that's a no-no. You cannot do that no more, so that's gone out of the table. It's not going to fix anything, especially if one partner has already committed to moving on. It's a difficult one to be in. You've been so attached to this person, depending on how long the relationship has been going on for. So texting and calling, it definitely doesn't help matters over time. You cut all that communication, you stop all that, Once you're able to look back on the relationship for what it was, then if you have to talk with your ex, when you've gone past that emotional state where you feel okay, at the end of the day, we're all adults, where you feel you can have a normal conversation with that person, depending on, your state. And you can do that much later when you've gotten over that period of emotional imbalance, let me just call it that. Final and most important thing I would like to leave here with is being able to focus on the positive. It's very important you focus on the positive. There's nothing like having to control your happiness, because I always believe, I know it's easier said than done, but nobody should be in charge of your happiness. I don't believe anybody's happiness is found in somebody. And I know you get happy when you're with that person, but I believe you should be happy already before being in that situation. I believe in two happy people coming together. The most important part of all what I've said is just being focused. And being focused is redirecting your mind, your thoughts, your thinking, or make a routine for yourself. I've seen so many breakup, meme stories online where you get people having to focusing on their eating, focusing on their health, and some people just cut down and become a bad person. You could call it a character building experience in a way, because when you're able to focus on the positive, I think you're in a bad position, because even if you do care for that person, and you never know with life, people do come back together and everything, and things happen for its own reason. So, but I think a person will appreciate you more if, even when they leave you and they see that you're better, you not better better than them, because it's not competition, but better as in improve. They can see the growth in you, and you can see the growth in them as well. I think that's a beautiful thing. But I hope this was helpful, and I'll be back with some more videos. Thanks. Please do subscribe and enjoy. Have a good day.